For over a century, historians and scientists alike have looked for traces of the mythical Saraswati River in India. According to experts, the Saraswati originated from the Har-ki-Dun glacier in Garhwal in Uttarakhand. It is believed that the river was 1,500 kilometers long, 5 m deep and 3 to 15 kilometers wide. The Saraswati flowed between 6000 and 4000 BCE, after which it dried up due to tectonic shifts of the earth. Consequently, it is believed the river dried up and was buried under desertification sands and alluvium. Said to have flowed from the Himalayas to the Arabian Sea and is distinct from the other historic river Indus, the Saraswati River has long captured the imagination of Indologists, historians, and religious scholars. The river has found repeated mentions in ancient Indian texts such as the Vedas and Puranas, the epics such as Mahabharata, Smritis. It has also been mentioned in historical texts and documentation by colonial officers, such as the 19th century British East India Company official James Todd. The latter extensively travelled through and surveyed Rajasthan, and his notes seem to refer to Saraswati as the lost river of the desert. According to Todd, the river originated in the Himalayas Shivalik range parts of present-day Haryana and Rajasthan before joining the eastern branch of the Indus Delta. But did the river ever really exist? Despite several references to Saraswati in the Vedas, researchers have not yet been able to identify the route of the river, and have been unable to match it with existing or formerly existing river systems. The Lost River. The Rig Veda, where the river was first mentioned, deifies Saraswati River. The deification continued in later Vedic and post-Vedic texts as well, making it an important part of Vedic culture and religion. It finds mention in 3 of the 4 books of Rig Veda. However, in the Vedas themselves, the descriptions of Saraswati differ. Mid and later Vedic books described Saraswati as a small river that ended in a samudra, which could mean both ocean or lake. In post-Vedic times, several references of the goddess Saraswati, who developed as a separate entity, can also be found. The Saraswati has also been described as a powerful river that brought mighty floods. According to Hindu mythology, the existence of the Saraswati River goes beyond the physical realm into the metaphysical world, and believe the Triveni Sangam was formed by the confluence of the sacred Indian rivers Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati. Over the years, there have been several attempts to locate or recreate the course of the lost Saraswati River by interpreting the information available in the Vedas. For instance, the Nadastuti hymn in the Rig Veda mentions the Sarasvati between the Yamuna in the east and the Sutlej in the west, while another describes it as flowing into a samudra. Late Vedic texts such as the Tandya Brahmana, Jaiminya Brahmana, as well as the Mahabharata, refer to the Sarasvati drying up in a desert. What happened to the great river? How did a great river of such proportions get lost without any trace? One of the most propagated and believed history of the Saraswati River came about in the late 19th century, when Indologists and historians started identifying Saraswati it as part of the Ghaggar-Hakra River system that flows between Yamuna and Sutlej through northwestern India and Pakistan before ending with R. The latest research has shown that the Ghaggar-Hakra River channel may have been a paleo-channel of the Sutlej River that flowed into the Nora River, a delta channel of the Indus. The Sutlej diverted its course about 10,000 to 8,000 years ago, turning the Ghaggar-Hakra into a rain-fed river system. This conclusion that the Saraswati was part of the Ghaggar system has been challenged by researchers who claim that the Ghaggar-Hakra River system had dried up before the Harappan civilization ended. The Harappan civilization emerged on the course of the river system 5,000 years ago after the monsoons diminished. The Harappan civilization is believed to have ended 4,000 years ago after the further decline of monsoons dried up the Hakra. This was before the advent of Vedic culture in northwestern India. The Vedic people arrived in the area and wrote the Vedic books mentioning Saraswati after the system had dried up. Mentions of Saraswati's course found in the Rig Veda also do not match the course of the Ghaggar-Hakra system. Some scholars have also identified the Saraswati River with the Helmand River in Afghanistan. The identification of the Ghaggar-Hakra system with Saraswati took on a newer significance in the 21st century when some scholars linked it to the Indus Valley Civilization. These scholars have suggested an earlier dating of the Rig Veda and the renaming of the Indus Valley Civilization as the Sindhu-Sarasvati or Indus-Sarasvati Civilization. According to the central government, the Archaeological Survey of India has already conducted excavations under Saraswati project since 2003 at these sites in Yamunanagar district, Kurukshetra, Fatehabad, and in Haryana, Rajasthan, and in Gujarat, as per a report in 2015. In a land where fact and myth often get mixed up, the last few years have seen a renewed push for modifying historical narratives. An ancient culture that was rich in knowledge systems and treasures that were eventually looted and destroyed by invaders. French-born Indologist Michel Danino, who has authored The Lost River, On the Trail of the Sarasvati in 2010, says partial revival of the upper course of the Saraswati is possible only through massive reforestation of the shivalik hill slopes and water harvesting in the plains. We need more geological and hydrological studies to understand the river's evolution. It would also be a good idea to draw lessons from the Saraswati's disappearance and make sure Ganga and other Himalayan rivers do not suffer the same fate. If you like my videos, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.